This program was made possible by a grant from Anne Ray Foundation, and by contributions to your PBS station by viewers like you. Thank you.
PBS American Portrait
is a platform that allows people to share their experiences,
to tell their stories.
Using the prompts that PBS American Portrait put out.
I was raised to believe.
I took a risk when...
What gets me out of bed in the morning?
What gets me out of bed in the morning?
It's that I've got a purpose.
It's the fact that we're going to be doing something special.
What gets me out of bed in the morning?
Probably my mom and dad.
Work, school,
Music.
coffee.
French toast.
Optimism.
My faith.
my kids.
Knowing that I have to be like the best dad that I can possibly be.
The thought that maybe this will be the day I figure out how to make my dream come true.
The idea that every morning there's a new problem to solve.
So that's what gets me out of bed in the morning.
It's your story.
The millions of stories that make up this country.
Just regular people like you, me.
Everyone has different story to tell and share.
People's videos and pictures.
A digital tapestry.
It's just a place to be heard and feel valued and listened to.
Escuchar los diferentes puntos de vista de las personas de diferentes orígenes, de diferentes clases, de diferentes edades.
To inspire and to encourage one another.
our common humanity in the American experience.
This is who we are.
That's what's great about it, is that you feel connected to a giant place because we all share little tiny snippets about our lives.
Most days I feel
This project can help bring us together.
To listen to each other.
Sharing your own ideas, your feelings.
Your challenges, your drive.
What makes us the same? What makes us different?
We all have a story to tell.
All around the United States
To reflect our true American portrait.
I was raised to believe
That there is no dream that is unreachable.
As long as I'm determined, I can become anything.
And not to give up.
no matter the obstacles.
That there's nothing in the world that I can't do. Right, Mommy?
That's right.
Now that may sound kind of cheesy and basic, but it's not.
I was also raised to believe in myself.
To take care of myself.
That the only person you can truly ever rely on is yourself.
That you have to work hard for everything.
I was raised to believe that if you have the ability, it is important to go out of your way to help people.
That we're supposed to help each other, help our neighbors.
That whatever we had, there was enough to share.
I was raised to believe that it's important to make memories. And regardless of how silly you look or who's around, you should always try to have fun and make memories for the people you love, not for the strangers that could be judging you or laughing at you quietly in a corner. And I still believe that because it's the memories that I made with my family and my friends that I look back on and bring me joy and provide me with a sense of fulfillment. And I think that's honestly the most important thing in my life. So I'm glad that I was taught that.
My
My parents divorced when I was young. I was raised primarily by my mom. She had never gone to college. My dad had never gone to college. He was a mechanic. She was a waitress. And I wasn't sure where I was going to end up. I hadn't even put the college and big dreams on my radar. I can't even remember what I wanted to be when I grew up. But I think the message and what my mom tried to convey to me most was it didn't matter where life took me, as long as I was happy and safe and content. She supported me in everything that I did, but she never listed a job. She never listed a goal. She never told me what I needed to do. She inspired me to be the best person that I could through action. She just wanted me to be a contributor, a valuable member of society, and to be the best person that I could be. And I think I've achieved that. 14 years in the Marine Corps, and I couldn't have asked for a better choice against much of her hesitation when I was 17 years old. And here I am now. I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm a father, I'm a husband, and I'm trying to be the best version of myself that I absolutely can be, and I don't think that she could ask for more than that.
No matter what, we need to be kind to people. We don't have to like everybody. Not everybody's gonna like us. In Hebrew, we call kindness chesed, and I want that to be my legacy, that Heidi was always kind to people around her. She was inclusive, she believed in other people, and she made people feel good. That's what I grew up believing in.
When I step outside my door.
When I step outside my door, I feel blessed.
I feel really lucky to live where I live.
When I step outside my door.
As I walk out the door.
I see a diverse and friendly neighborhood.
I see a beautiful green city.
I see my sweet little backyard.
The birds are singing to you early in the morning.
It's my happy spot.
When I walk outside my door, I get to see some of the most beautiful country that God's ever created.
This is kind of what I'm seeing.
This green, beautiful place.
And I'm just thankful for being surrounded in this place like I am.
I love just nature. Nature is just so beautiful. Oh my God.
When I step outside my door, I brace myself. My name is Devin. Because this world is largely non-autistic, my surroundings are often overwhelming. I do what I can to cope, and sometimes this means engaging in stimming behaviors. For me, stimming can look like this, and this, and this. And it's a part of my daily life. It helps me regulate and express my emotions, and it just feels nice and natural to me. I wish I didn't feel like I need to suppress my stims when I'm with other people. That leaves me feeling exhausted and fake. My autistic stims are a part of me, and so I look up to other disabled self-advocates in my community to give me the confidence to be me in all my autistic glory.
Venice Beach, Maryland. It's a historically black beach community in Annapolis, Maryland.
In fact, nothing much remains of Venice Beach that I once played on as a child. As you can see here, as we approach what is left of Venice Beach, water erosion has completely eaten away the sand, and the community has had to build a seawall to keep water from taking over the street and eroding the street and people's front yards. So this is all that's left of Venice Beach.
I took a risk
When I decided to pursue my dreams.
When I joined the Army.
When I decided to trade in a consistent paycheck to create art.
Which to my family isn't a real job.
I took a risk when I moved from Brooklyn to Puerto Rico.
To New York.
To Alaska.
To Connecticut, Kentucky, and then Wisconsin.
I packed up everything I owned.
In 3 suitcases.
With no money.
I took a risk when
I decided to randomly post my resume online. I started my own DJ company.
When I decided to open up this restaurant.
It was a huge risk, but it's the best decision that I've ever made.
I took a risk when I agreed to be a part of the U.S. State Department's LGBTI Education USA Interactive Panel. This was a really big risk for me at the time because I was not yet out, and the panel was being broadcast to every single U.S. embassy in the entire world, including Jamaica's embassy. But as it turns out, it was a really affirming and amazing opportunity for me because my other panelists, as I learned at the time, were from different places, different nationalities, different sexualities, different genders, different races. And so it was just wonderful to be with them and to share our stories about what it was like studying in the United States of America.
Starting your new chapter in a new country certainly is not easy at all. You have to reverse your life back to zero, and every day you learn how to survive in the new life, in new job, how to build a new comfort zone around you. When you are far away from your family, you consider your friend, your colleague, your community as your new immediate family. Living in USA is not easy at all. You'll be lost if you don't know how to navigate in this life. My children joined me in US a few months after I settled in, and they adjusted very well, faster than I expected. And I have my husband joining us only like 5 years later. But I have to say that it's all worth it at the end. It has been my family dream to live in USA, and it has been my dream as a parent to see my children educated in USA. Thank you for listening to my story. I hope you find it useful.
I started uploading videos on TikTok, hoping that they'd, get famous. And I took a risk because what if no one liked them? What if no one thought it was funny? What if no one was intrigued by them? But it turns out they were, and I got a little bit of famous off of it, so
I decided to share my story.
When a friend
recommended that I share my story,
he told me that he was inspired by my history.
Usually I have so much to say and choose not to say it.
So I decided to be brave.
And I said, hey, I have a story, so I'm gonna tell it.
After I shared my story,
I posted it on all of my social media accounts.
I told my friends about it.
All the feedback I received from it was very positive.
I got wonderful feedback.
Telling me how I was giving individuals hope.
It was an opportunity to connect with people I knew as well as with people I never met.
And that's what's so beautiful about this project is that it opens up conversation, it opens up dialogue with things that you never thought that you would talk about.
We all have something to share, and I encourage everybody to do this. It's such a natural part of who we are. It's what makes us human.
What gets me out of bed is the fact that a positive attitude has enabled me to survive and bounce right back up. It's the difficult times in life and how we choose to see things that shape and define us. In spite of our medical struggles, we can still accomplish the dreams in our life, and it all starts with having a positive attitude. I now represent the United States for table tennis on the international level as part of the U.S. Paralympic program. I will be competing at the World Championships for Parkinson's in 2 weeks.
I think that sharing your story is an act of healing. It's a means of liberation. I think when you tell your story, you're able to own parts of it, the good and the bad, the trauma, the things that have been beautiful, the things that have been hard, and something about owning it, I think kind of frees you from the parts that maybe you're ashamed of. And I think it gives you an opportunity to walk in more freedom and also provide an avenue for people to see that there's freedom and hope on the other side of what they're going through as well.
Most days I feel conflicted because I have a history of depression
anxiety, and it took shape of anorexia at one time. And I feel guilty because there's no reason for me to feel this way, but it's just something that's like inside of me. Nothing bad ever happened to me as a child. I've had a wonderful life, but it's something that I'm still battling with. I have to choose every day what I want to be. Am I going to let it get the best of me, or am I going to fight and make this a beautiful life? Like, we have a choice. It's hard. It's easier for some people more than others. I have a beautiful life, but it's something that I have to constantly, think about. I've talked to doctors, I'm on medication, I've gone to therapy, and it's so normal. It's really, really normal. I just don't think people realize that everyone's on the DL about it because it's something to be ashamed of. But here I am, telling you about it. I'm gonna be just fine.
The tradition I carry on.
The tradition I carry on is cooking Persian food.
Making my mom's cottage pie.
My grandma Bess's mandel bread. Making pupusas.
Traditional Native American foods.
Polish cookings.
My father used to do that. When he did, he would fill the house with all sorts of great smells.
Dinner on Friday nights.
Sunday dinner.
Family reunions.
For as long as I can remember, my family has done this.
Tradition of dancing.
Chinese performing and visual arts.
Old country music.
Keeping the tradition of Latin music alive.
From generation to generation.
And if we don't have those, then the future generations they won't know who they are.
My favorite holiday tradition is when we would go to midnight mass for Christmas Eve and then have a late night breakfast after the worship service. Then Christmas morning, my grandmother would go and get the Christmas tree. She was very frugal, so we would wait until Christmas Day to buy the tree because it only cost $1 at that point. Then we would decorate the tree, wrap our gifts, and then after Christmas dinner is when we would unwrap everything. So I look forward to going to midnight mass, buying a tree, decorating it, wrapping the gifts, and unwrapping it all within 24 hours. Have a wonderful Christmas.
The tradition I carry on is teaching my kids that it's okay that we don't celebrate Christmas. We're Jewish, and all year long we celebrate all the Jewish holidays, and I teach my kids to love our traditions. And then this time of year comes around, and Christmas permeates all of American culture. And all of a sudden, my kids feel different in a way that they don't most of the year. And I remember that feeling. And I remember feeling sad and left out. And I just have to trust that the pride that I'm teaching them in being Jewish and being a minority and loving what makes us special instead of hating what makes us different is going to carry through, and that they're going to teach it to their kids.
My parents dropped everything and moved to the United States to pursue a better life for themselves and their future children. They got married, then immediately left Syria to begin a new chapter of their lives. To them, the 4th of July is more than a fight for freedom from the British. It's a fight for opportunities. It's a fight to pursue a better life. Without this chance, I would be dreaming of the lifestyle I currently have. I would be dreaming of a life in which I am in control. The 4th of July is a milestone for the United States, distinguishing it as the beginning of freedom for all future citizens. This is not a luxury most people can benefit from back in Syria. The 4th of July is a holiday for all citizens of the United States, not just those born on American soil. Because of this, past and future generations are able to benefit from the freedom gained, allowing them to create their own destinies.
My Saturday night looks like.
My Saturday nights look like
being with my friends.
We'll see some of our amigos.
Because Saturday nights are for the boys. We have friends, so it's a crazy night.
My Saturday nights look like
laying on the couch in my PJs.
Being a couch potato.
with my phone on silent.
And do absolutely nothing.
Relaxing with family.
Playing some video games.
Face masks.
Hopefully I can convince my husband to watch some Harry Potter movies with me.
And I have a drink in my hand.
And I have a little libation.
After a long work week.
Just take a break, take a breather, and love yourself. And then I go to bed.
That's my Saturday night.
Saturday night looks like, for me, working out in the gym. I am currently training to compete in a bodybuilding competition. I love pushing myself, challenging myself, and seeing the transformation and results of my hard work.
My Saturday nights look like editing photos because I really don't have time during the week. I mean, I work full-time in the military and I take almost full-time classes for computer science. So this is the only time I get to really work on my craft.
So you don't know what it's like to not have enough sleep until you have a little one like this. There's constant waking up in the middle of the night, isn't that right? Constantly waking up. And you are just learning to live a whole new life where it's not about just you anymore.
No, that's cheating!
Being a business owner, I can't really have no type of days that I can be off. I gotta always be on.
Wow, I think I love you, Mom. Say, I want to know for sure.
I want to know for sure.
My life right now is singularly focused on landing this kickflip. Now, it's gonna take some time, falls, cuts, bruises, and frustration, pain, focus, effort, and fatigue, sweat, guts, risk, and anger. But that feeling when you land it, yes! There's nothing sweeter.
My American story started
when I was 6. I found myself on the plane coming to America.
When I was adopted from SAR Chad, Africa.
My American story started when my parents moved from Mexico to the United States.
And I didn't speak any English at all. My first day of school, I was so overwhelmed and I did not understand anything around me.
It was a very exciting time for me, but also a very terrifying time for me.
I came here with my family in search of a better life.
The beginning of a new life.
It was not an easy process.
But I don't for a minute think anyone in my family regrets coming to the States.
I'm very happy because now I'm gonna be part of this country.
My American story started when I was born. I'm from Temple Hills, Maryland, which is about 20 minutes away from our nation's capital. Being Black in America has always been an interesting experience and existence, considering the history of my family's forceful arrival here. But like any other person, I'm proud to be an American. My beautiful and courageous ancestors built this country. My elders nurtured our country's leaders, and my peers and I are currently fighting for a better America, the America that we deserve for our children and our future generations.
Right behind me where you can see that cat there, that's the block I live on. So when I bought the house, I was in my mid-20s and a bike messenger, not really making a lot of money, but so I bought this house that was abandoned, didn't have a kitchen, didn't have water, and from day one I started fixing it up. Putting my nights, my weekends, whatever I had into fixing this house up. In the last 20 years, I've sort of completed the house. As anyone knows that has a construction project, you never really finish the project. But in the last 15 to 20 years, I've had 8 other friends move into the block. And for me, this is my American dream, to build a community, to help rehabilitate a city that I love, the city that my mom was born in, the city that my grandmother was born in, the city that I was born in. For me, it's about building community, repairing and fixing the abandoned, the unloved, and leaving the world hopefully in a little bit better shape than how you found it.
So my American story started when I was 6 years old. I was born in Pakistan, and that's where my entire family lived. My dad won lottery tickets, and those included coming to America. So we packed up our bags, and we have been here ever since then, and just
just love and look it.
You should be a part of PBS American Portrait.
Because we can't paint this portrait without you.
And everyone's story deserves to be heard.
And I am interested in your story.
I'm sure you got something to share.
Whatever's on your mind, whatever your message is,
your thoughts,
your family stories.
We need to see each other's faces and we need to hear each other's stories.
Your hopes, your triumphs.
And let us know what's going on with you in your life.
Look at the prompts, and it's pretty easy. Don't be afraid. I was nervous, but I'm glad that I did it.
It's a ripple effect, you know? Once you share your story, others are encouraged to share their story.
Plus, this is something that you might be able to show your kids or your grandkids someday and say, look what I was a part of.
You can be an important part of this project.
To join in,
go to
pbs.org/American Portrait.
Go to the website.
That's
pbs.org/American Portrait.
Go to that, check it out, join, and then, you know, we all can feel like we're all one.
This program was made possible by a grant from Anne Ray Foundation and by contributions to your PBS station by viewers like you. Thank you.